Ever get stuck doing those super tedious data updates? Like when you got to change hundreds or even thousands of customer records manually?
Ugh, tell me about it. It just takes forever.
It's such a time suck. And honestly, it's way too easy to make mistakes.
Yeah, and it's not just one industry either, right?
Oh, definitely not.
I mean, think about it. Updating all those patient records in healthcare, or having to adjust a ton of financial data.
Or even just trying to keep up with an inventory that's constantly changing.
Exactly. All that stuff can totally bring productivity to a halt.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's where Dipali comes in.
Dipali.
Yeah, she's a software engineer who had to deal with this exact problem in the Acumatica system.
Oh, what was she trying to do?
She needed to change the currency and status for a whole bunch of customer records.
Oof, yeah, that does not sound fun.
Nope, not at all. But get this, she found a pretty clever solution.
Really? What did she do?
She used this feature called Mass Update within Acumatica.
Hold on. What is Acumatica? And how did she even find this mass update thing?
Okay, so Acumatica is this cloud-based ERP system. It's basically like the brain of a business.
Ah, I see. So it handles pretty much everything.
Yep, from financials to operations.
Yeah.
And inside Acumatica, there's this thing called generic inquiry.
What's that?
It's like a super powerful search tool. You can pull up really specific data.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
Yeah, it is. So Dipali needed to change the currency ID for all the customers to USD.
Okay.
And she also had to update the status of some customers to inactive.
Got it. Got it. So how did she use this mass update thing to do all that?
Well, she started by going to the customer screen and using generic inquiry to pull up all the customer records.
Right.
But here's the cool part.
Yeah.
She enabled this little checkbox for mass update, and boom,
What?
it turned her search into a bulk editing tool.
So wait, she could just change hundreds of records all at once?
We've got it. And to make sure everything stays accurate, the system uses these things called selectors and drop-downs.
Selectors, drop-downs. What are those?
Well, think of them like filters you use when you're shopping online.
Oh, okay.
Selectors let you pick exactly which records you want to change, and drop-downs make sure you're using the right values.
Okay, that makes sense. So Dipali could change all those currencies to USD with just a few clicks. That's got to be a huge time saver.
Right. But what about changing the status of some customers to inactive? How did she do that? Did she need, more control for that part?
Yeah, it seems like you'd need to be more careful with that.
For sure. That's where this feature really shines. She had two buttons, Update All and Update.
Okay, and what do they do?
The Update All button applies the change to every single record you've selected.
Right.
But if you need to make more specific updates, like changing only some customer statuses, there's the regular Update button.
So she could pick and choose exactly which ones to change.
Yep, and that gives her a ton of flexibility and makes sure everything is accurate.
That's pretty cool.
It is. This sounds like it could be useful in so many situations, not just for what Dipali was working on.
For sure.
Are there, any downsides to using it? Or things you need to watch out for?
Well, you definitely want to make sure you have the right checks and balances in place. Imagine you accidentally updated the wrong field. That could cause some serious problems.
Oh, for sure.
And sometimes, if you're working with a ton of data, the system might slow down.
Oh, that makes sense. So maybe in those cases, you'd need a different solution.
Exactly.
This really makes me think about that time I had to update, hundreds of product descriptions all by hand. It was a total nightmare. I wish I had known about this feature back then.
Right. This would have made it so much easier.
Totally. So for anyone listening who's struggling with these kinds of updates, what's the big takeaway?
It's not just about saving time. It's about freeing yourself up to focus on the stuff that really matters. The key is to think outside the box and use the tools you already have. You might be surprised at what you can do.
Totally. You might even have a mass update solution hiding right there in your own systems. And if you're ready to ditch all that manual work and find those hidden efficiencies in your business, Tayana is here to help.
Yep, they can definitely point you in the right direction.
For sure.